In this video, I will show you how to fill out and file your 2025 tax return using this Form 1040 here, this two-page form that you can find on the IRS's website. And there used to be a 1040 Easy for simple tax returns, but that form's long gone. It's ancient history. Everyone is using this same 1040, and the more complex the tax scenario, the more schedules they're adding on, the longer it gets. But we're going to do a tutorial on a simple W-2 wage earner filling out this foundational document. And of course, if you have other things going on, you can add on to this, but it all starts with this form, and I'll show you how to do the most basic version of it. Now, I recommend you use a tax software if possible, and I did a separate video showing free tax software service providers that are listed on the IRS website. But if you just want to fill out this form, print it out, mail it, handwrite it, whatever you want to do, for whatever reason you want to do it this way, the most manual way, you can do it. I'll show you how and the address to mail it to at the end of this video. I'll show you, and I'll link to everything in the description, by the way. So it all starts with a web search. Do a web search for the IRS Form 1040 2025. It's going to bring you to this web page on the IRS's website. And of course, you could go directly to the IRS's website if you don't want to do a web search. But bottom line is you want to get here, Form 1040 2025. You see the form here. There's a senior version. Seniors can still use the regular version. This font's larger. And then instructions. You need the instructions because it's going to have your tax calculation on it, okay? So we click here. It opens up this form. And I'm going to show you now, of course, this form is a rabbit hole. It can become very complex. You can have a tax return that's hundreds of pages. But again, we're doing a simple one for the sake of an example, and then you can build from this. This is a foundational tutorial. Now it starts with, we're going to do married filing jointly, so we put the one taxpayer's name, and really the order doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who goes first. But we're going to put John first. We're going to put John's first name, middle initial, last name. We're going to put his spouse, Jane, middle initial, last name, both of their socials. You don't have to do anything up here, by the way. Just leave it as default. It's already written in. Unless you have some special circumstance, leave this alone. It's important that you, when you read through this, just kind of skim through to see if something applies to you. But again, I'm showing you the most basic version of doing this. Leave a comment if you have questions. I'm happy to answer. We're going to, after we put in their socials, we're going to check this box if their main home was in the U.S. for more than half of 2025. I'm seeing some tax softwares automatically are going to check this box by default, assuming that this taxpayer has been in the U.S. for more than half the year. So check this box unless you've been living abroad. And then home address. We're going to put the home address right there, okay? You know, I see people forget about this. This is $3 toward a presidential election fund. You can check it or not. It doesn't matter. The thing is that it doesn't affect your refund. They don't deduct $3. They don't deduct it. Just want to let everyone know. Now, filing status. We're going to do married filing jointly. That's what we're doing because we have both spouses listed up here. Simple. Very important you fill this line out here, okay? By the way, let me jump back here 1 second. If you need to, take some time to familiarize yourself with the different filing statuses. Single, married filing jointly, head of household, okay? And if you have questions, again, leave a comment. But we're doing married filing jointly because that's a very common filing scenario for married couples, all right? Digital assets. Did you exchange crypto? Did you buy crypto? Did you sell crypto? Did you trade crypto? They want to know all this Bitcoin. I mean, whatever you're doing with crypto, they want to know about digital assets. Yes or no? Okay, we're putting no. We're assuming that they weren't trading digital assets. Okay, that's what this is all about here. Dependents. Once you enter a dependent, you may qualify for additional credits. Okay, if you have a child, for example, the 2025 child tax credit's $2,200 if the child qualifies. I'll probably do a separate video on child tax credits. I'm not entirely sure. If you want to see it, leave a comment. But I'm leaving this empty because I don't want to do a whole tax credit calculation for kids on a video where I'm just trying to show you how to fill out a W-2. So if you have dependents, and I'm not just saying about child dependents, maybe you take care of an elderly person and you pay more than half of their living expenses. You have grandma that lives with you, something like that. That's called an other dependent, but you're going to put your dependents here, all right? I can do a separate video on this if you want. Just leave a comment. All right, now we're going to come down to income, all right? And we are going to look at a W-2. You get a W-2 like this from your employer, right? I know it's blank. Don't worry about it. We're only concerned with these two boxes. Box 1, box 2. Box 1, that's your annual income, That's your wages. And that's what we're putting right here. And we're pretending like this taxpayer is making $60,000 a year. That's what is in box 1. It tells you right here, box 1, all right? If you have other sorts of income, so all of this whole section is income. And you'll know if you got a 1099 or if you get some sort of dividends, or you might get an interest statement, a 1099 INT from your bank. Maybe they paid you some interest. It's all going to get entered here. But we're just, for the sake of an example, putting our W-2 wages up top. Then they want you to add everything up here, and that's total income. When we bring the $60,000 of our total income right there. Are there adjustments? And if there are any adjustments, you need to add them here. Oops, I need to add this on. Okay, and everyone add commas, okay? I didn't add commas because I put this in as an example, but it's not like commas aren't allowed. I just typed this in to fill this out so I have an example for this, okay? So you have your total income here, adjusted gross income here. That's it. All right, so basically we only have W-2 income. You'd add any other income here, you add it here again. It asks you if there's any adjustments to income, all right? Usually this is like if you contribute to a retirement account, you get an adjustment to income. They call it an above the line adjustment. And this is your adjusted gross income. But we're doing the most simple version here because that's the whole thing about taxes. It can become a rabbit hole where it gets extremely complex, extremely quick. W-2 income and line 9, again line 11A, and we move on. All right, now it asks you some questions here, like if you're a senior or if you're blind, because that affects your standard deduction. But we're, again, keeping it simple. We have a couple, they're not seniors, they're married, and they're getting a standard deduction, they're not itemizing, and it tells you right here, a little cheat sheet, $31,500 is a standard deduction for a married couple filing jointly, all right? And then we go down here, and it tells you to subtract your standard deduction, this number right here, this is where I found this number, from your W-2 income. So we take $60,000 and we subtract our standard deduction, and that leaves us this number. This is our taxable income, okay? We're almost done. Bear with me here. So our taxable income is simply all of our combined income minus the standard deduction. That's how we got that number. Now it asks us tax. Where do we find out tax? Well, remember before how I said you want to have your instructions? We're going to jump over to the 1040. I'm about halfway through it, okay? And what you're going to do is, so when you scroll through, you're going to find this grid where it asks you taxable income, and it says the different filing statuses. Well, we need to go down to our taxable income, which is down here. We're scrolling through. Again, this is in the instructions. Halfway down on the page of the instructions, you will find this chart of your different tax calculations, all right? Now we jump back here real quick. We see that our taxable income is $28,500. We go down here, we just scroll down to $28,500. And we go here, we see this column is married filing jointly. Each of these columns is just your filing status. This is our tax bill. This is our tax bill right there, $29.46. So we go ahead and we put that in, okay? We put our $29.46. It asks again. It asks on line 22. So I'll just spell it out, or I'll just say the numbers so you can follow along. Line 16, you write your tax. Line 18, you write it again. Now, of course, this can all change. If you get tax credits from having kids, you're going to enter it here. It all gets more complex. That's why I say use software if it's not simple. Then you come down here. Again, assuming we don't have any tax credits or kids or anything, we're putting $29.46 here, and we put it here again on lines 22 and 24. That's our tax. That's our tax bill. Now, withholding. If we go back to a W-2, you're going to see that you got your gross income in box 1, and then you have your withholding. That's what was taken out of your paycheck throughout the entire year, right here in box 2. You're going to take whatever numbers in that box 2, and then you're going to put it right there. It even tells you income taxes withheld on form W-2. That's at box 2. And we're going to pretend that we had $5,000 withheld. Okay, so we write in $5,000 here on 25A. We put it again on 25D, the same $5,000. We bring it down here, total payments, so that's the withholding, $5,000. That's line 33. We're just bringing it down again. You're repeating the same number on several lines. And then it says, it asks you to subtract your tax bill from how much you paid on line 33, and that's the difference. So we had $5,000 withheld from all of our paychecks throughout the year, and it's in box 2 of our W2. This is our W2 we're looking at here. It's in box 2. And when you subtract our tax bill up here, and you can read it, it tells you the exact same thing. I'm just telling you right what it says here. If you subtract your tax bill from your withholding, this is what's left over, also known as your refund. You overpaid that much, it's your refund. And you write it again here, 34 and 35A. Put in your account information, all right? And then indicate which account you have. You're done. You're done at this point. That's it. I mean, if you want it, if you're looking for the most simple W2 tutorial on how to do it, that's it. All right, you're gonna assign date, you put your occupation. This pin right here, this is if you applied for an identity protection pin in the past. If you know, or if you've had it done, you'll already know about it. If not, for the rest of us, just leave it blank. So you're gonna assign date, you're gonna put your occupation, your spouse is gonna assign date, you're gonna put your spouse's occupation, you're done, that's it. You don't need to worry about this other paid preparer because you self-prepared. Now you go, okay, well, I filled out this 2-page form, it's finished, I did the calculation, and by the way, remember how I showed you the instructions and I said that there's the tax calculation on the instructions? That link has everything. I mean, if you really get stuck, you can just search through here and you'll find an answer for everything on this form. And then finally, once you have this printed out, you're done. You're going to say, well, what do I do with it? Well, you're going to mail it in because you should have used tax software. That's what I recommend. And if it's complex, you need a tax pro. At a certain point, you need to raise your hand and ask for help, and a tax pro is going to help you. But if you can self-prepare and you got this far, you're going to go back to instructions. You're going to scroll to the very bottom of instructions. You're going to scroll to the very bottom. And it says right here, if you live in, and it has states, and it says then use this address, and it has addresses for your states. You're requesting a refund and you're not enclosing money, or you are enclosing money. Well, we're getting a refund. We want a refund. And I'm doing this tutorial from California, so this is what we'd write on the envelope right here. We're in California, we're requesting a refund, and this is the very bottom. I scrolled to the very bottom of that link of in the instructions. We write this in the envelope, we print that out, we mail it, and we're done. That's it. If you have questions, please leave a comment. If you want to see other schedules or other scenarios, let me know. I'll be happy to do it. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.